lineup yesterday. He had my guy Paul from PG Sports on there. So yeah,
Yeah.
killing it.
Yeah. So first of all, how are you and your family doing during this tough situation?
Thank you for asking. We're doing good, actually. I'm thriving in the quarantine in the sense that I'm a homebody, so I don't typically like to go clubbing or things of that nature. So I'm actually doing fine because I'm still like business is still almost as usual in the aspect of panels and speaking engagements.
Yeah. So I've been following you recently, and I'm just I think you're one of the best WNBA players in the game right now, and you're working hard. And so, can you explain your background a little bit when you got interested playing in basketball, and who was your biggest influencer in that?
Yeah, so I started playing basketball young. Most people know my story in the sense that my sisters were my influencers. I was the youngest, and anybody knows the youngest wants to do what the older siblings do. So everything they did, I was doing it. I think with basketball, it ended up being like a thing that our family did. It was our family vacations, AAU tournaments was what we did as a family. So it started out as me wanting to do what my sisters did, and then it became like a family bonding moment.
Oh yeah. So who did you look up to in the women's game while growing up?
So the women's game, the WNBA became a thing when I was like 10, I believe. Players that I looked up to, I would say a Teacher Pinichiro was somebody that was non-UConn, but for me, UConn was a big UConn, Tennessee, I would say were just the programs I watched. So I didn't fall in love with necessarily a player or a player style, but I love that there's this huge rivalry. I love that they're like women's basketball. These players were playing at the highest level. So I would say it would be just those two teams in their rivalry.
Yeah. So if you don't mind, take me back to when during the draft when you got the call to become a WNBA player. What was that experience like?
Unforgettable. It was unforgettable because that's going to happen one time in your whole life, and you know that's going to happen. Like you're not getting drafted is just not something that happens very often. So you try to take it all in. I was trying to hit everybody back via text and also talk to my this is what I remember. Like it was crazy. I got my name called. I'm hugging my parents. Coach Ariema's there. I look at my phone and it's blowing up and I'm like, this is crazy. So that experience was once in a lifetime.
Before I get to your WNBA career, let me ask you this because UConn is obviously one of the best college schools in the nation, in my opinion, in the women's game. And Gino Aramera, your coach, Gino, one of the best coaches I believe so. And what was the experience like playing under him and playing with the teammates you had? And what was that experience like?
Yeah, so Coach Ariema, everybody knows that he's the tough guy exterior, but I legit love Coach Ariema. I think for me, I like the style of just shoot it to me straight. I don't need it to be sugar coated. I don't need you to like make it nice and sweet. Just shoot it to me however it is, and he does that. And for me, there's a certain level of respect I have for him for that because it's not easy. It's always easy to tell people what they want to hear. It's never easy to tell people what they don't want to hear. And he makes a living out of telling people what they don't want to hear, and he does it well. So, and he's usually right, and that helps. So I don't know. For me, I loved it. He's one of those people that I know if I was in an emergency and that if anything happened, that I could call him.
Yeah. So would you say that Gino is does he remind you of like Greg Popovich a little bit from the NBA? As a coach?
In the amount of success, yeah. I mean, coaching styles definitely not, but in the amount of success, absolutely. Both have built a dynasty. Both have built a reputation for being a coach that needs to be respected, a coach that's going to say how they feel. So in that aspect, I understand what you're saying with the coach Popovich. They're going to say what they feel, whether it's politically correct or not.
Yeah.
And that's not the easiest thing to do. So as like Coach Popovich, there's a high level of respect there.
Yeah, so now going to your WNBA career with the Atlanta Dream. Obviously, there's no games yet, and we don't know when the season is going to start for any sport. But for you, what do you do right now to keep yourself in game-ready shape? And before you answer that question, what's the experience like playing for the Dream, Atlanta Dream, and the teammates you have and the coaching staff? How is that like?
Oh, playing for the dream is really cool because I've had a house here in Atlanta for like 9 years and I just never was in it. So when I get to play for the dream, the first thing I think about is being able to be home, living in my house, and then
Hmm.
having my friends and people that live here that I know be able to just come every home game. A lot of times when I played for other teams, we'd have a home game, and like I would never use a lot of tickets in an aspect of family and friends. So now it's like, all right, everybody, you might have to get some tickets. I'm asking for like 10 tickets at a time at this point. So it's a
Yeah.
great feeling for me to play for the Atlanta Dream. And the second part of the question, how am I staying ready? I think there's a mental aspect to it, where I'm watching plays with one of our coaches. I'm doing physical activity as much as I can. I live in a condo, so I'm about to start the National Condo Association, where
Oh
you
wow.
build a fake hoop. No, it's not nothing real. You build a fake hoop and you play with it with your kids and stuff, because that's all I've been doing.
Oh wow. Yeah. No. Yeah. So if I'm not mistaken, did you get traded to the Atlanta Dream or sign as a free agent?
Yeah, I signed as a free agent, so I chose to come here.
Okay. So what? So your previous team, was it hard to leave that team, or did you always wanted to go to a different team at the end of the day?
For me, I've always had my eye on Atlanta because I live here,
Oh,
so I have a house here. I've always had my eye on Atlanta, but when our Coach Nikki Collin, came in and had the reins, and she called me and basically told her vision for me, her vision for the team, I was like, yes, because now I'm home in Atlanta and I have a really dope coach there.
yeah. So explain to me, what do you bring to the game? Obviously, I mean, I watched a couple of tapes on you, and you bring a lot to the game. But I see you at you're mainly a point guard, but do you usually play shooting guard also?
Yeah, so I mean, I think now basketball is going to this positionless thing where the point guard doesn't have to be this certain person bringing it up the court. The point guard is these hybrid point guards and Russell Westbrook style, where he wasn't naturally a point guard, but he developed into a really good one, an MVP point
Yeah.
guard. So I think that in that aspect, yeah, I play point, I play the two. I played the two in college. I played the two in the pros with Connecticut Sun. So if my coach has somebody in there and asks them to bring up the ball and me go, run to the corner, I'm fine with that.
So what? Let me ask you this: what was your favorite matchup? Who was your favorite matchup playing against, and uh, who do you like going up against as opponents as another point guard in the league? Who do you like going up against?
Who do I like going up against? Um, I'm going to say Natasha Cloud because she's a competitor. And I also say Natasha Cloud because I feel like within these past couple years, we played them a gazillion times because we met them in the playoffs. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I would say Natasha Cloud just because I have respect for her as a competitor and her as that like workhorse.
So I know that you've been acting too. So can you explain how did that become about the acting side?
Yeah, so I've always wanted to get into entertainment as a whole, but basketball is very jealous and it takes up all of my time. Now that I don't go overseas, that's about 7 months now that I have to myself to do things that I love. So I started to take acting classes and then I started to pursue. And a lot of people, so you take acting and improv classes not just to be an actress, you take acting and improv classes to be on camera. It teaches you how to be on camera, how to conduct yourself. Improv teaches you how to work on the fly. So, when I took those classes, I wanted to be a host, broadcaster, analyst, and actress.
Oh yeah, that's amazing stuff right there. And I saw I see your accolades, man. I told myself I have to bring her on the show because after I saw all that,
Thank
that's really
you.
that's
Thank
really
you.
that's for you to and for all for you to do all that and plus playing basketball still. That's amazing. That's just incredible. But
Thank you.
yes. So, but going back to your the team. So, whenever the season starts, what are you looking forward to this season with the team and the teammates and the coaching staff this year?
I'm really looking forward to see how we put it together. So we have, I think, like half of our team might be new, which is difficult in this kind of situation because we don't know how long we're going to have for training camp. So depending on how long we have, how long will it take for us to build chemistry, for us to mesh together, for us to learn all the plays, and We already, those are things that are the technical aspect that I think of as a player, because I'm always thinking about what will the product look like whenever we do start playing again. So I'm excited to see. Our coaching staff is a very like we have a very high, not just basketball IQ coaching staff, but just IQ coaching staff. So these are some very intelligent people. I'm pretty sure that they are already planning on how to systematically get us on the same page.
Yeah, so let me ask you this question. What do you think of Kathy as a WNBA commissioner so far?
Oh, I love it. I love Kathy. And the thing I like about Kathy, I mean, I don't know personally, but it seems like she's the type that's going to like kick down the door and demand to be heard. And I think that that's what the WNBA needs. I think that the WNBA, we have a good product. And so there needs to be some type of demand to be heard. And that's, and to me, all you want is somebody fighting in your corner, and she's doing that.
Yeah, I got to tell you like a funny story, because my father, she used to be a partner. I mean, not partner, like what do you say, like a worker at Deloitte company. She, Kathy. So my father works at the company right now, and my father knows her, and I just, that's why I have to bring that up, because I feel like Kathy represents Deloitte pretty well, and for her to be the commissioner for the WNBA is a big thing for my dad's company too. So because
I'm sure. Shouts to Deloitte.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shout to Deloitte producing commissioners.
Yeah, because my father, he's a partner there too. So.
Oh, shout to your dad.
Yeah, but so before we, I do a segment with my guests on the show. It's called Rapid Fire Questions. But before we get to that, I just want to ask you, what you think now with the WNBA being more competitive with all these teams, especially your team, and what do you think of this competitive? Like it's just like the NBA, where you won't see any 3 stars on one team, but you'll see 2 stars in the NBA on the same team. But like for the WNBA, you have maybe 2 or 3, maybe 3 stars in one team. But how do you like the competitive balance now in the WNBA?
Oh, I love it. And I mean, you do see players moving. There's obviously going to be some haves and have-nots. But in the general aspect, I think on any given night, the beauty of the WNBA is that any team can win on any given night. If you don't bring your best A game, you can get beat. There's not that big of a disparity that you can play terrible and somebody else can play great and then you still win. So there's that dynamic in the WNBA that every night you got to bring it.
Yeah. So are you ready for the rapid fire questions?
I'm ready. Let's go.
All right. Favorite food?
Food. Oh, gosh. Tacos. That was weird.
Oh, today's Taco Tuesday. Taco Tuesday.
I know. I just had tacos. That's why I said it. I'm like, that was weird. It's not my favorite food, but it's the first thing I thought of.
Kawhi Leonard's laugh or Kevin Hart's laugh?
Kawhi Leonard.
Favorite. What do you listen to? What's your favorite pregame music to listen to before a game?
Something's chill. So I would say R&B, reggae.
Favorite artist right now, currently?
Serena Grace.
Favorite thing to do outside of basketball and acting?
Ooh, favorite thing. I would say I'm into like binge watching TV shows. So I don't like to watch anything live. I like to get behind and binge.
So what's your favorite TV show right now on Netflix?
Ooh, Hunters. Oh, on Netflix? Sorry, that's Amazon. Netflix. Oh gosh, what Netflix original am I watching right now? I'm not really sure because I get confused to what is what. I have 100 subscriptions. It's ridiculous.
Oh wow. Favorite sports movie?
Favorite sports movie? Ooh, Love and Basketball, or let's go with Ray Allen, or White Man Can't Jump. No, White Man Can't Jump. Love and Basketball, or what is the name of Ray Allen's movie again?
Mr. Shuttleworth or something?
Yeah, Shuttlesworth. Yeah. Jesus Shuttlesworth.
Yeah.
And I guess it can't be my favorite if I can't remember the name, but top 3.
Speaking of Ray Allen, I'm trying to get him on the podcast somehow, but it's hard.
Big lit. I mean, it's hard.
But okay. Thoughts on this Michael Jordan documentary, if you saw it?
I love tough love. That's my thoughts.
Yeah, so I'm gonna write. I told my friends that I'm gonna write a a piece and a blog about this at some point, so people know about my own perspective on the documentary, because I learned a lot from it too. Yeah. So I'm planning on doing it sometime this week or next week, but I don't know yet. But I'm definitely going to write a piece. But what do you? So okay, here's a good one: Diana Taurasi or Sue Bird?
Oh my gosh! What kind of is this? No, I'm gonna have to go with Birdie because point guard love.
Who's the funniest person on the team?
Oh my god, it's hard. We have a new team. I would say Brittany Sykes would have been way up there, but she's with LA now, so I'll just say Brittany Sykes, and until we start our new season, TBD.
Okay. So the last few things here. This question I always bring up to my guests that come on the show about the late Kobe Bryant. What he meant to them, and especially Gianna too, and Mama mentality. So for you, being an athlete and then coming from Uconn, and because I know Gianna was Uconn destined too. So what did Kobe mean to you? What did Gianna mean to you? And what does Mama mentality mean to you?
So, story time. When Kobe and Gigi passed away, I was actually at Uconn. I was taking a nap. My teammate Kalena Green was had woken me up and told me about it. So, I think I was at Uconn getting honored for our 10-year championship reunion. I say that because I think life has a funny way of working things out. Me being at Uconn with all of my Uconn teammates, the current Uconn basketball team was playing against the USA national team. So then it was my current teammates from my championship team, the current Uconn team there, Coach Ariema, the coaching staff. My parents had flown in for this. So everybody that was kind of going to feel it the same way I felt it was right there. And for me, that was special because we all got to grieve together. Obviously, everybody knows that Gigi wanted to go to Uconn. So they did a little memorial for her on one of the seats. And I was there live to see that. So that's something that I cherish. That's a memory I cherish. And just having Kobe be a big ambassador for the WNBA. And let's be clear, he was an ambassador before Gigi became Gigi's good. She's a good player.
Yeah.
So he was an ambassador before that. He believed in the women's game before. It wasn't just for Gigi. It was because he really liked women's basketball.
Yeah, so well said, and they'll be missed, and especially Gianna at 14 years old, she had the fadeaway shot just like Kobe, and
just like him.
Yeah,
and everybody does that, like Kobe.
Kobe
Everybody does it with the trash can.
Yeah,
and the trash. She had it for real, with the ball looked just like him. So that's what I said. She was going to be good. She was probably going to get a scholarship to Uconn and maybe go on to the WNBA. And that's why it's such a tragedy, but her memory, her legacy will live on as well as his.
Yeah, so before I get to the last thing, one of my I had a request from one of my followers and on Instagram. So his name is Global Kid Media. He's 13 years old. You should check his page out on Instagram after this, and he's interviewed 1,000 people already. He's trying to be the first
what?
Yeah, he's trying to be the first sideline reporter, kid-wise on the sideline in any sport. I don't know, but yeah. So check his page out. He's 13 years old, man. This kid is working hard right now, and and then I think he interviewed one of your teammates. Do you have a teammate named Williams on the team?
Courtney Williams?
Yeah, no, Kristen Williams or
who?
I know I gotta check it up, but he interviewed one of your teammates, I think. But
Elizabeth Williams.
Yeah, Elizabeth Williams. There you go. Yeah.
Yes.
So he interviewed her parents, I think, her parents, and yeah. So check his page out. He does some fantastic stuff at 13 years.
I'm telling you what, kids like him have a real good way of making me feel like a failure. At 13, he's doing that.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. But the last thing here, would you like to say anything to all the nurses and doctors?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Thank you for what you do. My sister is one of the first responders. She's a doctor. She's a pharmacist, so it's not one of the doctors that are in the hospital. But I always tell this story because when all this was going crazy and every family had the luxury to just stay home and hug their family, my sister didn't have that luxury. She didn't have that luxury. So she's a pharmacist, and she should be included in the first responders in the sense that there was a large group of people, the warehouse workers, the delivery people, the people stocking the shelves. So not just to the nurses and the first responders, but to everybody that is still out there right now with a lot of places closed. Thank you for letting us just live comfortably in our homes and giving us the amenities and luxuries that we need.
Yeah, well said. And man, and also I'll be tuning in tonight. Apparently, you're interviewing Angel McCautry. Her name is, right?
I think you need to hit up that 13-year-old guy. I think I might need to interview him. That's pretty interesting.
Okay. Okay. You know what? Yeah. You want to do that on Instagram Live or Skype?
I haven't figured it out yet. We'll figure the details out, but I think that's an intriguing story. Like, that's pretty amazing.
If you don't mind, when you interview Angel, can you put in the word for her about my podcast? If you don't mind.
I cannot do that.
You can do
that. You know how many people ask me to do that with my teammates all the time?
I'm just joking. I'm just joking. You know, I'm just joking, right?
No, I know you're joking, but people do ask that quite often.
Really?
Are you kidding me? Yeah, people want to reach out to teammates to get a hold of other teammates. Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah, but I just want to say thank you for joining my podcast today. It's been an honor. You're such an inspiration to everyone in the world. The things you do right now is just unbelievable. Keep up the great work. I'll be following your career, and I'm hoping you win a championship one day. And I think you will. Your team looks pretty good, and obviously you have a brand new team, and just have to come together and work hard. And I think you guys will do with this, and hopefully it comes up with the championship. But just keep working hard, and I'll be posting this interview on all social media formats. So,
all right, you rock. Thank you.
Yeah, anytime.
All right, bye.
Bye.